Welcome to the next installment of the Train Vicar. I'm here outside St Stephen's Anglican Church in Lincoln, just south of Christchurch, New Zealand. And this is one of the few remaining old buildings in this town, but there's a bit more to discover. So let's see what else we can find. So in the middle of Lincoln, there's this beautiful park with a nice stream meandering through it. And if you look closely, you can see that there's a pedestrian bridge going across it. But this pedestrian bridge is actually quite substantial, more than it's required for just for pedestrians or bikes. So it must have been something else in the past. And really, if you look closely, and somebody like me would suspect it's got something to do with trains, yes, it was the railway bridge in Lincoln. So the railway line would have come here from Christchurch in the past, gone across the railway bridge here, and then the railway station was just on the other side of the bridge. On the left hand, the branch would have gone on to Little River and straight ahead to South Bridge. And indeed, here's some information about the railway bridge and the branch line. And on this information board, there's also a working timetable from 1927, so nearly 100 years ago. Here's the train timetable, and the passenger train would have taken about 23 minutes to go from Christchurch to here to Lincoln. Well, I came here on the bus, and it took the bus about 50 minutes to an hour to get here to Lincoln. So nearly 100 years ago, it was twice as fast. And then to Little River, it took another 41 minutes from Lincoln to Little River. So in total, that was just over an hour. So and today, it takes about an hour to go from Christchurch to Little River by car, even though the road is quite good. So why 100 years ago was the train so fast? Well, if you look closely here, it says electric railcar or electric car. So in 1927, a brand new battery electric railcar was used on the Little River branch. It went to Little River twice a day until 1934. The Edison battery electric railcar was built in 1926 in the United States. It was a bit more expensive than other steam locomotives, but it was decided to test it here in New Zealand. Initially, the railcar was used between Lyttelton and Christchurch through the Lyttelton Tunnel, but it didn't have sufficient capacity for that service. Also, at that time, the electrification of the Lyttelton Tunnel was in process. So the railcar was switched to the Christchurch to Little River run, and it was quite successful there. People praised the nice interior with the many windows, the good acceleration, and the quiet and fast ride. Of course, the railcar also required fewer staff to operate than a steam train. In Little River, there was a connection to the buses to and from Akaroa. Overall, the railcar was a success. In 1934, it was briefly taken out of service for maintenance. During that process, a fuse probably caught a spark that set fire to the flooring. The fire damage was quite significant. Initially, there were plans to repair the battery railcar, but that never happened. Due to the recession, no new battery electric railcars were ordered because they required a higher capital outlay. And so this fascinating chapter in New Zealand rolling stock ended. The Little River Railway branch was itself a branch of the South Bridge branch, leaving that branch at Lincoln. In some years, Little River was actually more important than South Bridge later on. The railway line to Little River was completed in 1886, and there were plans to continue it to Akaroa, but that would have required either a tunnel or a difficult route over the hill. Akaroa is quite a nice place, and it's known for its beautiful French architecture. Today it's also quite well known for the possibility to see dolphins around the harbour. As you can see on this railway map from 1889, the Southbridge branch left the South Island main trunk in Hornby. Little River was called Waimea at that time, a name taken from a nearby Maori fortification. Today, the remainder of this branch still exists as the Hornby Industrial Branch. Well, here's a photo of a shunting engine crossing the road in front of the shopping centre. This map from the 1940s shows that Hornby wasn't quite as built up then. The line made its way south across the Canterbury Plains to Prebbleton. Nowadays, this is a growing suburb of Christchurch. A railway line to this place would be great, but little of the railway line remains. From there, the railway line went further south, in many places alongside the road to Lincoln. And here it crossed that stream that I was talking about. Lincoln was a quite small town back then, close to the Lincoln Agricultural College. By now it's a substantial satellite town of Christchurch. From Lincoln, the Little River branch turned southwest. It skirted Lake Ellesmere, or more exactly, causeways were built across some of the bays of the lake to make the railway line a bit more straight here. It then ran alongside Lake Forsyth to Little River. Today, much of this section is a cycleway. The railway station in Little River is still there. Even a train is parked at the platform. The rolling stock for this train has been brought there by truck. Hasn't been left there from the time when the railway still was there. A DSA diesel shunting locomotive stands at the head of the train. This is now mainly a stop for people travelling to and from Akaroa, with several cafes there operating. It's also a destination in itself for those coming here by bike along the former railway line. At least the heritage of the Little River branch is still recognised. Of course, I am disappointed somewhat that today, when there are many more people living alongside this former railway line, it's no longer there. Nearly 100 years ago, these people had a relatively good service with a modern, comfortable train. And I wonder what could have been. What if the railways had persevered with offering good services? As the train vicar, I want to conclude with a question how we in the church and personally can persevere despite setbacks when we are on the good way.